Hey, we are reading a Zadr fanfiction. It's called the Short Story Club. Now, if you don't know, this person likes to write Zadr, which is Zib and Jib romance. That's what it stands for. Romance, short stories. Okay, let's read this thing already and get this over with. A flash of color sweeps by my face, then another. Neon lights act like busy bees flying around the room as if they have somewhere important to be, but simply traveling in quick circles amongst the crowd of people. Techno music is blasting through the ears of all before invading their bodies and mind, causing them to get lost in the music and jump around senselessly to the beat. Some people simply sit around the bar, yelling over the noise just to talk to someone right next to them. I was one of them, save for the fact that I was completely silent as I sipped on my drink and scanned the room, not looking for anything in particular, but just letting my eyes wander out of boredom. Suddenly my gaze fell on the most intriguing being I have ever seen. He was short for a man, at least half a head smaller than me. What he lacked in size, however, he made up for in looks. He wore a tight long-sleeved pink shirt that exposed his shoulders and showed off his flawless body perfectly. His midnight hair fell just above the shoulder length and was streaked with the same color as his top. What really caught my eye, however, was his complexion. His skin was an unusual yet a beautiful shade of dull green, and was completely unblemished as far as I could tell. Before I knew it, my feet were carrying me over in his direction. I couldn't help it. He was just so alluring. From behind, I approached him and wrapped my arms around his waist. "Hey there, cutie!" whined I purred in his seductive voice, earning a smirk from the other. "Hello yourself!" He chuckled and began grinding against me. My body, of course, reacted naturally to this, but I wasn't ashamed of it in the slightest. He noticed and looked back at me, his grin never fading. "Someone seems excited. Why?" He teased in an erotic tone that almost drove me wild. I chuckled and started moving to his front to press our bodies together. Sensual, I thrilled, started pulling me, and we began dancing with one another, rubbing ourselves against each other. I felt him get hard as well and smirked back at him. He pulled away, leaving me utterly confused. Took my hand and dragged me through the ocean of people. I gladly followed. We ended up in the dressing room where performers generally change, but there were no shows scheduled for tonight, so the place was deserted. Without warning, he shoved me against the wall and pressed his lips forcefully into mine. I kissed back immediately, and he bit my lip, wanting me to kiss. The other took this as an opportunity to slip his tongue into my mouth, and I did the same to him. There was a fight for dominancy, but I let him win, which seemed to please him. A few moments later, I lifted him up and seated him on one of the tables. "What did you say your name was again?" I asked after pulling away and panting slightly. "I didn't," he pointed out. I shrugged, knowing that he probably wasn't going to tell me, and I decided to move on. My thumbs hooked the inside of his tights, and I yanked them down to his ankles, exposing his junk. Whoa! My eyes widened as I caught it. It was nothing like I had expected. His dick was dark fuchsia color, and it had stripes on it. It was also pointed at the tip rather than ending off with a rounded head like mine did, and I heard it chuckle approvingly. "It's part of the skin condition," he explained. I nodded in understanding and smirked, taking him in my mouth. He gasped and moaned as I started bobbing my head as well as sucking. By the time I started getting my teeth against him, it became too much and he came heavily in my mouth with a loud groan. After licking both his cock and my own lips clean, I came back up to his face and we started making out again. Somehow I ended up on top of the table and he broke me. "You got something I caught on to," saying, and pulled the condom out of my skinny jeans pocket. "Hey, with all these STDs floating around and whatnot, it would be stupid to have unprotected sex with a stranger." He smiled wide and he reached down to undo my studded belt. I let him and studied his reaction as my own Stephen Meeber came poking out of my boxers. He licked his lips and started, almost forgetting I was there. Like what he was seeing, he snapped out of it and turned his attention back to my face. Very much so. I smirked at his response and slid his pants to the rest of the way up. Once the condom was on, and he said he was ready, I gently pushed inside and forcing him to escape his legs. I stayed still for a few moments, and the person below me growled. Move already, damn it, he ordered. I complained and started thrusting in and out of his entrance. He gasped and moaned loudly this time. Gave me social support. It really kicked me harder and left 2 rows of my own loose. We both started panting and sweating as he began to be more rough with it. Without hesitation, I began pounding again, as hard as I could, and he grunted loudly. Apparently, I found a sweet spot, because I pounded stop those sounds to transform into crushed fish. Yes, 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 he screamed, and moved his lips in time with mine. Right there, yes. I whimpered slightly and gave a long, loud moan. Thank God the music was so loud, because being caught like this would be pretty damn embarrassing. Slowly I felt the pleasure beginning to build up inside of me, and I began to tremble slightly, almost in unison, both my Uki and I reached our climax and wrote our Uki lips. I felt some warm cheeks placed on my stomach, and at the moment, I knew I had made the right decision by wearing a crop top. We both were breathing heavily afterwards, and stared into each other's eyes for a moment. There was something else unreal about his violet irises. They didn't seem to capture me as they should, and the whites in his eyes seemed to be entirely bleached. It was probably just another part of his skin condition. I pulled out with a grunt and tossed the used condom in the trash, then cleaned my stomach with some Kleenex and threw that away as well. He grabbed his tights and slid them back on as I pulled at my jeans. Well, that was fun. I smiled and got up to leave, but something grabbed my shoulder. You know, the green-skinned guy off. The night is still young. Care to come back to my place? He asked with a wink. I smirked and helped him down the table before snaking my arm around his waist and walking out with him. This should be interesting. That's the end of the story. Well, that was not what I expected. It was worse than I expected. I mean, what? As in literally fucking an alien, and you see that as something to write a story about. That's just a bit wrong. Well, I guess that's a bye. Subscribe and like if you want more.